I am going to do a tier list of every single thing that has ever been released by Dropout. Dropout, if you don't know, is a program that used to be College Humor. So I wanted to do a tier list of everything. And I'm doing it with like school grades. So you can get an A+, an A, B, C, D, F, or I didn't watch something. Starting off with Game Changer, one of my favorite things on the whole platform. Game Changer, in the first few seasons, it was solidly like B or C. It was still finding its footing. By the current season, it is one of the best things maybe ever made. The episode 1 year later is one of the greatest things I have seen in my entire life. Game Changer is getting an A+. Make Some Noise, there's a lot of really, really funny clips, but it almost feels like watching TikTok because the things are so like unrelated. For that reason, I am putting Make Some Noise in B tier. Very Important People is a show made by Vic Michaelis, who is playing a character also known as Vic Michaelis. Vic is one of the funniest humans on Earth, and they get these different characters from all sorts of different fictional places, like aliens and celebrities and Vic's ex-step-grandmother. And they have these characters do like long-form improv interviews. Putting it in A because I think it has the potential to get into A+, but I think because of the nature of improv, sometimes it's going to be A+, and sometimes it's going to end up being D just because it's improv. Actually, game show where you have to correct the speaker, and it's got a lot of really fun content. However, I think they've really, over the very long run, exhausted a lot of the series that I think are, interesting. And so they've started getting into like these really, really niche, nerdy spaces that I don't know anything about, and it feels no longer relevant for me. Put it in the B tier. Dirty Laundry is the first of these shows that I don't watch religiously. I will watch it if there are people I like on it because it's a very personality-driven show. And the thing about personality-driven shows is you have to like the personalities. And I think Lily Du and Grant O'Brien have good chemistry. They make things interesting, but I think you need to like the guests enough. And on episodes where I know the guests, it works really well because they're like telling their secrets and they're airing their dirty laundry, as the title suggests. But most episodes I don't actually know the people. D tier. Gastronauts, really fun, really funny cooking show where the characters who are cooking are getting these really, really crazy prompts from the comedians, and then the cooks are grading the comedians, and the comedians are grading the cooks. It's a pretty good show. I wish there was more of the like traditional cooking show suspense and critique of each of the dishes one by one, not in front of the competitors. I think that would make it a little bit stronger of a show, but I really enjoy it, and I do watch it a lot, and for that reason it's going in B tier. Parlor Room, I have watched like 2 episodes of, and it's not a show for me. F tier. Smarty Pants Society is really interesting because it's another one of those shows that's really hit or miss. You don't need to watch the whole episode at a time. There's a lot of short presentations being done, and I think that some of the presentations are really, really good and some are really bad, and that's just how it goes with presentations. To C tier. Crowd Control. This is a new show where comedians are doing crowd work, but with a audience that has already been stacked with people that are good. And I really like the show. I think it's really funny. Pacing is sometimes a little too fast. I think they could slow down a couple times, but jokes per minute in this is very high and very well done. Crowd Control is going in A+. Breaking news are really, really short segments, feel like YouTube videos. Some of them are really funny, a lot of them are very meta. Breaking news is going into the C tier. Too quick. Play by Ear is one of the hidden gems on the Dropout platform. It's these hour-long improvised comedy musicals, and they are so well done. Everything wraps up so neatly, and they're gems. Play by Ear is going in the A tier. 1,000 Dares. This is one of those shows that feels like it could have been incredible, and it just missed the mark, and it ended up kind of in like this uncanny valley. I think the premise was cool, giving people $1,000 for them and their friends to like go hang out. One of the friends becomes the judge. But I think it could have done with either a more reliable host or with I don't know, something about the friend group dynamics of it makes it work not as well as it feasibly could. And so because of that, I'm putting it in the C tier. Hank Green's pissing out cancer, one of the funniest things I have ever seen, especially if you like Hank Green like I do. And it's kind of a sciencey, but also funny, but also, it's Hank Green. Hank Green's gonna Hank Green A+. Monet's Slumber Party. I have seen a couple of episodes. I thought that this show was not a show made for me. And I think it's on the list of things that I would want to watch at some point, but it's more like, feels like eating popcorn, less like eating a steak. I guess a lot of the things on Dropout feel like popcorn and not a steak, and that's fine. But for now, I am putting Monet's Slumber Party in Didn't Watch. Nobody Asked, I would say, is one of the first shows on Dropout that I thought was bad. I like genuinely all of the other things so far have been like pretty good, watchable. Some are more like YouTube-y, some are more like actual TV-y, some are really funny, some are funny in a lot of episodes, but not every episode, But Nobody Asked is trying to be Mythbusters, but the people all seem like they didn't want to be there, and they have like these Mythbusters ideas, but then they don't push them to the extreme. And I think part of what made Mythbusters so cool is they would take the idea and they would push it and push it and push it. And Nobody Asked is they give up after like one or two pushes. It feels like if there was more budget on it or fewer hosts or something like that, it could have gone so far and been so cool. It's like a very interesting concept, but Nobody Asked is going.
Just in, I have a report that it sounds like Ethan hasn't actually seen any seasons of Dimension 20 except for Metropolis. So he's here live with another reporter, Katie Schneider, who seems to have seen many more of the seasons and is going to do a ranking of her own. Before we start, I'm just going to put Mentopolis up in the A+ tier.
I agree with you. Mentopolis is A+.
It's the only thing I have seen of the Dimension 20s, and it's just incredible. I mean,
it's very good.
Yeah.
They do also a lot of, they collaborate with a lot of, I guess, researchers or, professionals. So a lot of the medical stuff and scientific stuff is also accurate. As someone with who took psychology classes and does neuroscience research. It seemed at least kind of accurate.
Yeah. Alex Songsia and...
I love them.
Who else? Hank Green, of course.
Yeah.
And...
Danielle.
Who?
Isn't Danielle in that? Is that her name?
I know Siobhan Thompson's in that.
That's true. I also, in the A+ category, would put, where is it? What's it called?
Yeah. Never
After. I like storybook, fairy tales, and so it was fun to see that, but, twisted in terms of, the darkness of them. I don't know. It was a fun season. I think Crown of Candy, I would give a B, because I think I just didn't, get into it, but I've heard really good things about it, and I've heard that, it's really sad at times and really emotionally charged. So I just think I never, fully got past the hump of the exposition. I think I would put it either a C or a D tier, and I'm deciding which one. Because the whole point of that season was this is, a social game, and you're trying to do social moves. But I feel like too much of it was, out loud. I don't think they did enough subtlety of it. Okay.
Star Trek.
I really like this one. I think it's a fun little one to have in the pastime, in the background. And so I would put this, I would say A+, because I think there are some fun moments. I really liked Burrow's End. I would give this an A, because it wasn't my, the top three are the ones that I go to rewatch. Burrow's End is still very good, but I don't rewatch it. So it's in the A as opposed to the A+. Cloudward Ho, that's currently ongoing, and I've watched some of the episodes. I thought it was a really fun concept, but I just haven't finished it. So we'll give it a B, I think. What is it called? Steampunk? Steampunk. And I think Steampunk's very fun. I didn't watch all of this, but I felt like it wasn't my favorite. It just didn't really hook me. I don't know why. So I'm gonna give it. Ooh, this is again the question of C or D tier. It feels mean to put something in D tier. I am. Nobody has my opinion on this, which is that I don't love it that much. I just think, um, like I've watched so much. I don't know if I would give it an F. I think I might put it in D. I think the like concept of like magic in high schools I've just watched so much of. Perhaps because I've been in that age bracket for so long, so I was sort of a little bit tired. Like to get invested, I feel like there's an amount of exposition you have to get over, and in campaigns like this, the exposition is so long. So like I want to be invested in a campaign once I've gotten through all that exposition, but because it's a live format and the show changes every show, I feel like it's hard to like get over that exposition part. So I might put this in F. I think I liked this one. I think I would put it in a B. It was a fun group. I remember that. Junior year, I started to watch it, but again, I just don't think it's my like. I don't think I'm the target audience. So I might put it in D because I think I've watched a full episode. But Never Stop Blowing Up. I thought was fun. I would put this in the A tier. They do. You're in an action picture. You get sucked into an action picture video game, and they're trying to get out of it. I thought it was fun because they used a different system. Like I think they built off of an existing system, which was Kids on Bikes, and then was it Kids on Bikes? Yeah, Kids on Bikes, and then they did stuff to it, and I thought the way they did stuff was fun, and it meshed really well with the setting. So that was good. Titan Takedown. I did watch this, and I liked this one. I always think it's fun when it was nice to see. Similar to what they do in Dungeons and Drag Queens, they bring in like a group of people who have never played D&D before, and then they have them do D&D, and so that was fun to watch the people get invested because they're all performers. I think I would put this in B tier. They brought in pro wrestlers for Titan Takedown, and I feel like the plot that they did was really relevant to them being pro wrestlers. Whereas I think in Dungeons and Drag Queens, the plot wasn't super related to drag queens, and I was kind of sad about that. Thinking about it now, I might bump Crown of Candy down to a C tier, just because I personally liked it about this. Yeah, I think that's just more accurate to what I personally liked. Let's see, Unsleeping City. It's either in B or C tier, and I'm trying to figure out which one.
C tier.
Would I recommend? I think between Never After and Starstruck, I would recommend Starstruck more because I think it's a fun comedy campaign, and people tend to like. Whereas Never After has more emotional investment. There still is definitely comedy in Never After, but for somebody who's just getting into D&D, I think, or D20, I think Starstruck is a fun comedy campaign.
Next, I have Bigger. Felt like it could have been a whole series of improv shows, but we just got one, and it was like pretty good. But I'd give it maybe B tier. Actually, I really liked the segment about rat engineering, so I'm moving it up to A tier. Chris Grace as Scarlett Johansson. I am going to see Chris Grace at his show in Boston in a couple of weeks. I am very excited. I thought that Chris Grace was really funny and had a really salient argument / explanation of cultural appropriation in a way that I thought was really understandable, easily comprehensible, and funny at the same time, which I think that's really a hard combination to do. It's funny, understandable, and comprehensible. I guess comprehensive is the word I mean. He gets an A+. Big Team, same thing as Bigger. To me, I think it could be a whole series. I thought it was really well done. I think Bigger and Big Team both annoyed me in that they're not a series. Same thing, I'm going to skip forward to From Alley to Zachy. That's another one. I feel like it should be a series and not just one improv episode. Because when you get one improv episode, it's the same thing as Very Important People, where it's like it could be D tier or it could be A+ tier with improv because it's improv. So recording one episode is like, why not just record 30? I don't know. Something logistics, I'm sure. Vanessa 5000. Sounds really weird. I feel like I'm not the target audience for Vanessa 5000. It's going in the C tier. 4 Pills by Cameron Esposito. I thought that this was one of the most insightful insight into what it is like to be bipolar. The things I most like about Dropout is how the stand-up shows that they picked all seem to have a salient argument about something and seem to have a like very, very funny comedian at the center of it telling a real experience. And Four Pills by Cameron Esposito really fills that role incredibly well, talking about bipolar disorder and doing it in a way that's both funny and meaningful, and really shows you what it's like to have bipolar. And so I am putting that in the A+ tier. Next up, Game Changer Animated. These are very short versions of Game Changer things and animated. Kind of just stuff you've already seen. Total Forgiveness, Ally Beardsley, Grant O'Brien. The two of them go to Sam Reich, who's the CEO of Dropout, and they ask for money to give each other challenges to pay off their student loans. And in the show, you get to see like this whole journey of the two of them and their friendship, and you get to learn a lot about student loans, and it's just really, really well done. It's maybe the very best thing on the whole platform. WTF 101, really interesting. It feels like if the Magic School Bus was made for adults in a good way. I remember it being really good. I'm putting it in the B tier. It was very well made and very funny, interesting. Yeah, why am I not putting it in the A tier? It's going in the A tier. It's going up one. The Rank Room. I remember this being, it almost felt like a podcast, but it wanted to be a game show. And I just remember only watching a couple of episodes and thinking it just could have been a lot better. Ultra Megatron Team Go, so well made, fiction series. The plot twist is like a plot twist to end all plot twists. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. It like, the show goes through all sorts of genres. It's very experimental, but it feels like Power Rangers, but you know, really funny. It's and really well made and a little sappy. Ultra Megatron Team Go is going in A tier. If I were to recommend you 6 things to watch, Game Changer, especially the episode Sam Says 3 and 1 year later. Crowd Control, although we'll see where that goes as it's new and still coming out. Total Forgiveness, I would recommend highly, highly. And then if you want some stand-up specials, I would recommend you Hank Green's Pissing Out Cancer, the Chris Grace as Scarlett Johansson, and 4 Pills by Cameron Esposito.